So I don't know. How do I know if this started recording? Doesn't it have like a light right here?
Yeah.
It says screen video recorder is sharing your screen. Does that mean that we have started? Well, I'm not gonna do 6 minutes of this not knowing if it's recording or not. Wait, there's a red button right here.
You see like a red dot.
Ah, crap. Okay, yeah, the dot is red. All right. So, hello, pre-cal. Ignore the first 30 seconds of that video. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to graph 3 sine of 2x minus 1 for those of you who want some review for your daily quiz mañana. All right. So I'm going to start with the basic function sine of x. All right. So you need to know the basics of sine. You need to know that it starts at the midline, that it ends a cycle at 2 pi, that your standard cycle for sine is 2 pi. So you need to know this. That might be good to write down. From 0 to 2 pi is 1 cycle of sine. So we ask ourselves naturally, what happens if I change that to a 2? If I change this to a 2, I will now have 2 cycles between 0 and 2 pi. So here it goes. Sine of 2x, you notice the compression. All right, now I have 1 cycle. See how 1 cycle ends at pi? That's 1 cycle. And the second cycle will end at 2 pi. Thus, it makes sense that the 2 is your frequency. You now have 2 cycles between 0 and 2 pi. Okay? So far, that's very helpful for your B value. Now we just got to worry about our amplitude and our midline. All right? So I'm going to change the amplitude next. Notice how it will not change any of my zeros. It will not change where my cycles end. So I'm going to change that 3. And now, instead of having an amplitude of 1, see how my peaks are at 1 and at -1? My peaks will now be at 3 and -3. All right? Still, my first cycle ends at pi. My second cycle ends at 2 pi. All right? The last transformation that I'm going to apply to this is the -1. All right? I like to have this whole function drawn, right, from with my amplitude and my frequency before I mess with my midline. Because all I'm going to do with my midline is I am actually just going to move every point down 1. All right? So for that, I'm going to put 3 sine of 2x, and I'm just going to subtract 1 so that you see that these are really the same points, same coordinates, except you have gone down 1. So for example, this will be pi over 4, comma 2. All right? My minimum, which was 3 pi over 4, comma -3, is now 3 pi over 4, comma -4. All right? So everything goes down 1 as a consequence of that last vertical transformation. All right? Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this actually matches to the function I had at first. All right? Those are the same function. All right? And also that your period is 2 pi divided by 2 pi divided by, I don't know if I can type that, by your B value. 2 pi divided by your B value. All right? In other words, if I take 2 pi and divide it by 2, I get pi. That tells me the length of 1 period. The length of 1 period is pi, and I'll graph the midline so that you can see. All right? The length of 1 period that starts at 0 will end at pi. All right? For your daily quiz, you need to be able to graph some points from this. All right? So you need to have a good scale. I would say 0, -1, and next pi over 4, comma 2, pi over 2, comma -1, 3 pi over 4, comma -4, and pi -1. Now, how can I figure out what these middle points are? One thing you can do, if you find your period, right? So I'm going to unhighlight the rest of these. If you find your period, pi -1, you can think halfway in between 0 and pi is pi over 2. Halfway in between 0 and pi over 2 should be pi over 4. And your y is a little easier to understand. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. That is pretty much it.